Okay, hello everyone. This webcam is giving me problems again, so this is take number two. Um, so I make more videos if my webcam didn't fuck up so much. Maybe at some point I'll fix that. Okay, so I want to tell you all how this town healthcare meeting went because yesterday was the first town healthcare meeting in Baton Rouge, and so uh, you know, this is all being billed as a way for the public to get their input on healthcare. But, well, so basically what happened, well, first thing that happened was I walked in with this guy, older white man, and when I walked in, there was a guy handing out pamphlets off this clipboard, right? So the guy walked in, gave the man at the door gave him a clipboard. Then he looked at me, didn't give me a clipboard. Then looked at the white lady who came after me and then gave her a clipboard. Okay, so that was number one. Right, that's the first thing that happened. And at this point, I've gotten to the point where I'm like, well, let's just give people the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they are racist. Yeah, but I can't do anything about it. So let's just give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he just overlooked me or didn't see me. But the guy gave me a really ugly look. Like he looked at me with this like, and then he gave the clipboard to this other lady. Okay, so that was number one. And then I walk in and like there are no non-white people there at all. There was me. I saw. Well, there was a speaker and his brother who he announced. They were both black, who was in the room. And then I saw a black woman, and I saw some of the camera people were black. No one in the audience, except for one black lady who sat in front of me, who didn't speak the entire time she was there, were black, or any other ethnic background. I did see one Indian person. I didn't see anyone else. Nothing. It was nothing but white people. Older white people too. Pretty old white people. Like people I guess almost in a retirement age. I couldn't quite make out the ethnic, the wealth background, but some of them clearly talked about owning businesses and things like that too. So the first thing he did, so then as I'm walking up, there was another guy handing out pamphlets, and he clearly saw that I didn't have one, so he gave me one. And the pamphlet was a like about 10 pages of nothing but what was in the bill that was bad. It was I mean it was a 10-page bill about nothing, and then the bill itself was sorry. The bill itself was not we weren't given a bill. We walked in, we weren't given a bill. We were just given this long pamphlet that was I wish I had it's in my car. It was signed by it was the people who had put out the bill was people who put out this pamphlet was the Louisiana Tax Party, something like that. So I know that the tax party is somewhat Republican leaning. They're more constitutionalist, but I know they're Republican leaning. So first of all, why is it? I didn't realize this was being done by the tax party, which is automatically a bias right there. This is not an unbiased public health discussion. This is clearly a group organizing this. So why is this getting so much media attention as people being against healthcare when it's not a unbiased? It's being billed, as people are complaining about the Obama's healthcare proposal. But what they really should be saying is people who belong to this tax party are complaining about Obama's healthcare proposal. So this is a completely biased conversation. Okay, so as I'm walking up, they handed out tickets to people who wanted to make comments, and of course, something like 150 people must have taken tickets. And so the way they rationed them out is they wrote the ticket number on a board randomly, and whoever got that number got to speak. Okay, well, the guy who walked in before me got to speak, but I didn't. So I ended up actually leaving early because I wasn't going to get a chance to speak. And every person who talked, and I mean every person who talked, did nothing but talk about how this was leading to socialism, this was leading to communism, and how this was going to end America from being free. They talked about how the bill was going to raise our taxes and lead to big government and government having this big influence in our lives. It was just a sort of a similar theme over and over and over again. And this guy who was the congressperson that was there, he was a Republican. And so it was really interesting because there was lots of moments where he was agreeing, but then the more they had time to talk, the comments got more and more radical. At one point, this lady got up and talked about wanting to, could we just, if they passed the bill, can we just not enforce it in Louisiana because we can claim states' rights or something like that? So she took it to the states' rights level. You know, she took Obama's health care bill for everybody to the states' rights level all of a sudden. So I was, that I thought that was pretty radical. I don't think they brought up secession. I don't think that came up. But which that lady said did come up. And then uh, there was a guy who made a comment about the hate crimes bill, and he said that is this hate crime bill essentially amount to the government forcing us and telling us what to think? And the guy, it was interesting because this guy, the politician guy, knew he was on camera, so he didn't give any answer that he would probably give in private. He gave very good public answers, and he did admit that many reasons why people have a problem with the hate crime bill, or people like him have a problem with the bill, is because of the issues involving sexual orientation. And you can almost tell the moment he said sexual orientation, the whole crowd, you could hear snarls coming out of people in the background. Okay. So as a black gay man, this was terrifying to me. Okay, you have to understand. It was like Donovan sitting in the second row. Okay, amidst a sea of older white people. Okay, who did nothing but the moment anything was said about socialism, communism being bad, protecting states' rights. And then this doctor, the congressperson was also a doctor. I wish I could remember his name, but I don't. He was also a doctor, and he was actually pushing for us to have something called a health savings account. So the money that we pay for a deductible would go into an account which then pays for our health care. Which, that may result in lower costs for health care because you're already paying for part of it by putting this deductible in. And he was just going on and on about the miracle and how great this was. And I just kept thinking, well, what if you can't afford the deductible? Like, there was all kinds of questions people should have been asking throughout this whole thing if it was an actual debate or an actual discussion. Because I had a lot of questions. I really wanted to read the bill. I thought someone would present me with the bill so I could make up my own mind, and no one did. And so I was really, really, really disappointed. And then getting increasingly terrified because people kept saying all kinds of really just ignorant things. And they clearly hadn't. One guy said Canada and the Canadian people are suffering from their health care. That how dare they try to put that Canadian system onto us when the Canadian people are suffering from it? And I was like, what are you people talking about? And I wanted to yell because there was one lady who, as the night progressed, just increasingly people just started yelling things out of the audience, which was just wrong, very unprofessional. And so I was gonna yell something too. All I wanted to say, the only thing I was gonna say was, I wish I would have been given a copy of the bill because I wanted to read it for myself and make it my own opinion, and I wasn't. I was given this clearly biased information that's against the bill. And then the other thing I was gonna say was, well, I lived in Canada and I've lived in Germany and I've spent a short time in France, and all those places have socialized medicine, and I gotta say, socialized medicine is pretty good. Like, everyone's taken care of, and I just wanted to say that because I wanted to see how they would react. So I never got my chance, so I left early because I had a booty call, honestly. So I'm just gonna be honest with you like that. I figured my time would be much better spent if I could get back to my apartment and answer my phone instead of hanging out with a bunch of old skeezers complaining about healthcare. But yeah. So that's how these town things go. So if I were a progressive person and listening to this clip, or if you see this clip, I would highly recommend going to these things and raising your voice, trying to get a number, trying to say something, because I feel like even if you get booed down, at this point now you know it's not biased. Now you know it's completely biased. It's a completely the tax party, pro-constitutionalist. This one guy wanted to go back to the original Constitution, and I just kept going, well, the original Constitution, all these people you're naming, Thomas Jefferson and Madison, no, they didn't. They all have slaves and everything. What do you know what 3/4 persons means? Oh, anyway, it's just ridiculous. I mean, you start talking to them more and more. The lady I sat next to, we had a long conversation, and her husband lost his job because of the stimulus package and all this kind of stuff, and